hope you see another one presentation, which is titled Features of the Virtual World or Perception, case of Smeshariki animated series. This is a new project which was initiated by a group of students and me as well. So I will show just the methodology and some initial analysis, no network analysis. And what I want to do after my presentation is to discuss the methodology. There are two questions which I would like to raise, and I will announce them at the very beginning. First question is are there any possibilities to use network analysis on the base that we have now? Where can we apply social network analysis for our needs here? And the second question, if we will develop the methodology, if we will make research for other virtual worlds, Smeshariki is one case, but we can be interested in other cases of virtual worlds, and how can we change our methodology to make more benefits from network analysis in future. These are my questions, and let's turn to the story. So I will say some words about the Smeshariki, about subject of our survey. I think that Russian audience know about this cartoon, but foreign colleagues can not be familiar with this. Then I will unveil the survey methodology, show some results, and then we will turn to questions and answers. So what is Smeshariki? Smeshariki is a family animated series which are produced in Russia. The start of the project was in 2003, and from 2003 till 2012, there were produced 207 episodes of this series. Then, after 8 years of pause, the production was continued, and from 2020 till 2023, there were produced more 112 episodes of this series. And it is there is a consensus around the idea that the second part of the series is quite close to the first part. There are no stilistical, ideological, narrative, and so on changes from the first production to the second wave of production. These series are quite short stories. One episode is about 6 minutes length. And each episode tells a unique story. So it means that we have more than 300 stories about these heroes, about this Smeshariki. But also there are not only small episodes, but there are also 3 full-length cartoons which were broadcasted in cinemas. Also, there was a multiplayer computer game produced, which is titled Shararam, based on the Smeshariki virtual world. There are some educational movies, print publications, books, journals, etc., and a lot of merchandise based on these stories and its characters. What are the residents of Smeshariki virtual worlds? There are 9 characters. 2 of them are female and 7 are male. All of them are living in Chamomile Valley, fictional space. And each of the characters corresponds to some animal of the central part of Russian Federation. I also should mention that there are no positive or negative character in this world. The world of this series does not know violence. Its inhabitants solve emerging problems through the search for consensus. And that's why this cartoon can be interesting not only for children, but also for older family members. And this is a good show for watching it together for kids and older people. Also, it should be noted that the beginning of 2000s is a period of time where the main content available for young Russian TV viewers was, of course, made not in Russia. Many animated series were popular that were produced in the United States, some other countries. But in this environment, Smeshariki managed to become a real I will not say masterpiece, but really very important project and important art project. It appeared because of the invention of flash cartoons, and this technology made possible to produce. Dmitry Semychev says it's masterpiece. I will not argue, but it's really very, very important cartoon. That's I totally agree with that. And later, some other cartoons, animated series in Russia appeared, but that was the first one, and it was, now it is a really successful one. So here you can see the picture. I will not show pictures. This is maybe the first one and the last one. To introduce the characters of the movie, on the first row, closer to us, we can see Nusha, Barash, and Pin. And the second row from left to right, there are Kapatich, Savunya, Lasyash, Yojik, Krosh, and Karkarich. I will use these names so you can see them. And if you're not familiar with the series, you can see how they look like. So let's turn to survey methodology. What was the research problem? The research problem is that when we are dealing with a complex artistic world, a guest of this world, I'm not using the word viewer or reader because this person can use the word guest because This is a multimedia and cross-media environment, and person can be viewer and reader and listener and user at the same time, because he or she can communicate with Smeshariki in different platforms and different environments. And if we have so many stories about these heroes, the narrative of the stories becomes not so important. There are too many stories. And here we have on the first plan, we have here these characters and their interrelations. And this guest, this representative of the audience, can have different interrelations with these characters, depending on his or her own taste, depending of some features of personality, of character, and so on and so on. And so what we wanted to see these differences. So the research task that we try to solve is to develop a methodology for quantifying this variability for different groups of guests. And these groups can be social demographic, psychographic, and so on and so on. So the basis for analysis can be different. Here are some references and some publications that inspired us, and I would pay your attention on one of the publications, the publication by Vadim Rudnev. His book is titled, I think it is in Russian, and the English version of the title should be Winnie the Pooh and Philosophy of Common Language or Everyday Language. And the initial idea of Rudnev was that, maybe not everybody knows, but Winnie the Pooh, the book written by English writer Alan A. Milne, was translated into Russian by famous Russian writer Boris Zakharin. And Russian version of Winnie the Pooh was quite a free, and it is quite a free adaptation of Milne's story to Russian-speaking readers. So practically, Zakharin not translated but interpreted, but adopted this text for Russians. And what Rudnev noticed and tried to show is that this is the quite different text. Russian Winnie the Pooh and English Winnie the Pooh are different. And the philosophy of language of Alan Milne is different and very important for understanding of his creative method. That's why Rudnev proposed his own interpretation of Winnie the Pooh. He retranslated this text, proposed his own translation not for kids, but translation for scientists, for linguists, and specialists in language games. That was his idea. Also, Rudnev wrote a big preface, which is titled Introduction to the Para-Semantics of Winnie the Pooh, where he proposes his own interpretation from philosophical point, interpretation from linguistic point, interpretation from psychological point, from the theory of psychological types. And this multi-base analysis is very interesting and very impressive. However, it is a quantitative analysis, so it raises some questions, and we can argue with Rudnev, but of course, his method is very interesting, and we were highly inspired. We wanted to do something comparable, but using other methods. That was the idea. So, how was the field work organized, and what was the target audience? We invited to participate Muscovites aged 18 to 25. Which are young adults. Of course, it is not a target audience of Smeshariki. I would say that Smeshariki is for younger people, but this group was grown up watching Smeshariki, of course. So this is an important series for them. They know it and they love it. That's why we chosen that group of people. Gender quotas was 50% of men, 50% of women. Sample size 200 respondents, and there were two filters. We did not invite people that do not know Smeshariki, and so a person had to be familiar with the series, and the attitude to the series should be good or neutral. We did not invite haters of Smeshariki. Irina, that's great to hear that you are also Smeshariki target audience that you like with, so we can share love to this. And so our fieldwork period took about 6 months. And our research consisted of three elements: 2 online questionnaires, and also eye tracking part. First online questionnaire was a recruiting questionnaire, in fact, and it contained, first of all, screening block, where we asked age, gender, attitude to Smeshariki, and so on. And also, this questionnaire included a Big Five questionnaire. We used Shebetenko version from 2014, which contains 44 questions, personal questions, and 5-point scale. So the respondent can agree or disagree using, as I said, 5-point scale. And this quite standard psychological instrument has 5 dimensions for the interpretation. First, it measures extroversion, so we can treat person as extrovert or introvert. Benevolence, friendliness, ability to come to an agreement. Third dimension is consciousness. Fourth is narratism or emotional stability, if this person emotionally stable or non-stable, and openness to experience and intelligence. There are the 5 dimensions of the first question. Then, if respondent fit our criteria, we invited to fill another online questionnaire, which was the main one. And this questionnaire consisted of 4 main blocks. First block was dedicated to topics, thematic interests in media. It included 35 different topics, and each topic should be evaluated by 5-point scale. What are the topics? Quite different, for example, for international news or movies or IT or automobiles or erotics or garden and plants or housing and so on and so on. 35 topics covering all the basic interests. The second part of the questionnaire was value test by Schwartz. We took a version that is used in ESS international survey, which is conducted in Russia by CC, and we wanted to have comparative data and some benchmarks from this research. And this test includes 21 questions. It has male and female versions and 7-point scale. Also, we had some questions unveiling attitude towards characters of Smeshariki. By 5-point scale, we measured attitude to each character. And also there were 3 questions for identification. So one question was about identification of the respondent with one of the characters, which character is closer to him or to her. The second question was identification with a parent or meaningful adult. And the third question was identification with peer. In each of these 3 cases, respondent had to choose one of the 9 characters, which is closer. And also we measured characteristics of Smeshariki. Here we used Charles Osgood method and used it as a projective methodology. There were the 21 question where some characteristics were listed, for example, brave or active or polite or honest and so on. And for each case, respondent have to choose more fitted character among those 9. So probably you know that Osgood method is based on 3 main factors, and so 7 from 21 questions were dedicated to one of these 3 factors. The factors are strengths, activity, and quality or attitude. So quality or attitude is good or bad. For strength is strong or weak, and activity is active, passive, and some other characteristics which are closer to this. So one more slide is about eye tracking. So how much time did every respondent approximately spend for all questions? I think that it was not long answering. Yes, I understand. That did not take long. I think that both questionnaires could be filled in 30 minutes. And there was one more part, which was initially the most important for us. This was eye tracking part of the research. The idea was to see how different people with different people of different psychological type watch the same cartoon. We used 12 minutes video, which consisted of two series of Smeshariki. The series were Tradition and Big Race, if you know them. And each person had to watch this movie. And we used gaze point hardware and software, which was given to us by the Higher School of Business Department of the Higher School of Economics. We are very grateful for their support. We did not invite all the respondents, all the 200 respondents to this part. We had about 80 of them. The idea of this part, which is not analyzed and interpreted yet, so we finished the field work, but we have to do more analysis. This is to be analyzed in two ways. First of all, we we already calculated some cumulative parameters for each person's. For example, number of saccades and number of fixations, lengths of fixations, average, and so on and so on, for each respondent. And also, we have the idea to analyze the viewing and features of viewing of separate scenes of the cartoons, because for some stands we think that there will be a similar mode of viewing, but for some then there can be differences. This is our hypothesis that we will test in future. That's I will not speak much about the eye tracking part because it's not completed yet, but I should mention it anyway. So some results of the survey that we have. Here we have some characteristics of the sample. So 50% of our respondents are studying, 40% are studying and working at the same time, and 9% of respondents are only working. So 1% are not working and not studying at all. 66% of respondents say that they are familiarized with the series, and 34% say that they know it very well. And the attitude is 34% saying I'm neutral, and 66% saying I really like it. So that means that the attitude to the series is quite warm in our target audience. So thematic preferences of our target group, we see that they like music, humor, information about travel, countries, and people, cinema, psychology, образование and career, education and career, and so on. And there are some differences among the gender groups. For example, female respondents are interested in psychology, relationships, between people and gender relation. This is our this is topic number one for them, and travel countries people are on the second place. For male respondents, the topic number one is humor, and psychology is not in top 7. But at the same time, we see the less important and the less popular preferences, which are weapons, military equipment, and garden dacha. And in both gender groups, we see that these topics are not popular at all. So, character assessment ranks that characters did receive. So the most popular, as we see among all the respondents, is courage, which is Crow, Smeshariki. Pin is on the second place, and Yojik on the third. And Nusha, young pig, is less sympathized Smeshariki, I would say, for male and female groups as well. There are several differences. For example, male respondents like people more, and for female, Pin is only on the 4th place. And female respondents prefer courage, but male respondents respect their courage as well. Yojik is more popular in female audience than in male, and Krosh is on the 3rd place for both groups. And bird cluster rules, says Ilya. Yes, we see that birds are quite high in this research. So, speaking about self-identification, it is interesting that Krosh is the first choice for all the groups, but there is a variety, of course. Yojik is on the 2nd place for both groups. Male respondents do not identify themselves with Nusha, but girls do identify themselves some in 10% of cases. And it is interesting because Nusha is not popular in estimations. This character is quite controversial. And Kapatich is the last position for self-identification in general, which is quite interesting. Female respondents quite rarely identify themselves with Pin. Who is parent or significant adult? 3 variants are most important for both groups: Savunya, Karkarich, and Kapatich. Well, Artem says Krosh and Yojik may be so popular because of exposure time. They're almost always the main characters. Yes, that is true. And also, Yojik and Krosh are young characters. For example, Kapatich, Savunya, Karkarich are adults in this group. So maybe this is also a reason. And Nusha, Yojik, Barash are not identified with adults. So who are peers? Peers are Krosh, Barash, and Nusha. And Kapatich and Savunya are not associated with peers. Karkarich also not associated with peers, more with adults. So let's speak about features, about qualities. As I said, the idea was to find the character which is associated with Osgood characteristics. So we can see here the most popular choice for each characteristics in male and female groups. I would say that gender features, there are not so many gender features. There are seen, for example, for charming quality. Male respondents more often are saying this is courage. Female say that is croche. But in the majority of cases, there are similarities. So strong is Kapatich, talkative is Krosh, conscientious is Yojik, compliant is Yojik, open is Krosh. Yojik is the most kind, but also please take into account, for example, charming Karkarich wins having 24%. So here we have a variety. But for example, for talkative, there is not so much variety. Krosh is leading with 66%. Also, independent is spin, active is spin, Sabuni is responsive, Krosh is decisive and vigorous, Karkarich is fair, Barash is tense, Yojik is calm, friendly, Krosh, confident. There is also a difference between male and female respondents. Males say that Krosh is confident, females respondents said that Karkarich is confident, and Karkarich is winner here. Communicative, Krosh without any doubt. Honest is Yojik, substantive is Pin, irritable is Nusha. So we were waiting for Nusha here because that was the last chance to have leading quality for her. And here we see that 8 from 9 Smeshariks has one quality, at least one quality where he or she is leading. And there is one character that has no leading quality, and this is Losyash. We do not see Losyash in this list, and this is probably something like well, it's not a mistake, of course, but this is a feature to be thought for creative group. Maybe if this research was done in the beginning of the project, maybe they could do something with that and make Losyash more visible in this group in terms of these qualities. People do not understand scientists. That's true, but we are trying, at least for creative people, to make us understandable. So let us turn to questions and answers. We have about 10 minutes, and let me return to the question. What are the possibilities to use network analysis here? On the current database, or maybe in future, making some changes in the methodology that we have. Are there any ideas or comments on that? I will give half of a minute to think, and if there will be no versions, I will tell my own version what we plan to do. Okay, so I will give my own variant. There is one idea that we have for social network analysis, and it is connected with Osgood methodology. So as you remember, there are 21 position, 21 characteristic of Smeshariki, and each respondent has to choose the most fitted character. And in the questionnaires for one line, for one respondent, we have some interrelations of characteristics that are attributed to one character. For example, Krosh is named as most communicative and most active and most talkative, and so on. And this, and for example, Yojik is mentioned in other situations which are close also. And so we can analyze how these characters, not characters, but characteristics are interrelated in this own world. So we can build a network for each character, and we can build a network for 9 characters and the general world, and see how these characteristics are interconnected for them. So I think that is the last thing I wanted to tell you. If there are any questions, please, you are welcome. Questions, comments? If there are no, I would like to thank you for your kind attention.
Excuse me. Could you share the presentation that you had with us?
Why not? I sure I can. I think that we will ask our organizers to make it available.
Thank you.
I see the question. What is, just one moment. What is the theoretical output of social network analysis in this case? I think that we can look at the profile of characteristics for each imaginary world. And if we will have several cases that they can be different. So that can be maybe not a big theoretical result, but that can be something like food for thinking for creators. So we wanted this to be interesting for creators. So when we will finalize this research, I'm going to make presentation for Smeshariki group for St. Petersburg production studio, and maybe they will make some information for that for their creative work, because they have another projects which are like. I would suggest analyzing plot lines with social network analysis, or at least these since you show attract respondents. These can give some interpretation to the answers of respondents, like Artyom did few minutes ago. Thank you, Ilya. Artyom, so this is rather practical than theoretical. I think yes, that should be more practical in initial idea, but what is more practical than a good theory? I am citing this is I'm quoting now words of Wolfgang Donsbach, German researcher, which was our friend in journalistic road performance, who initiated this project, and now he's not with us, unfortunately, but this is his quote.
So, Sergey, thank you very much. I think it was really very, very nice. And actually, I think that it was very useful in the sense of getting some theoretical basement of studies using methodology of network analysis as well. So, yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Very insightful.
Bye-bye.
Okay.